All right, we're here with Huw Ware, official PDC caller at the World Darts Championships. Huw, thank you so much.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Of course, I definitely wanted to get a summary of your journey becoming a PDC darts referee.
I started calling, 2008, 2009 when I was a youth player, and I did the Winmore World Masters with the BDO when I was 17. That was a good 14 years ago now, so it's already been like quite a long career up until now.
So you're 31 then, right?
Yes, I'm 31. Yes, yeah, just turned. Thank you very much.
Okay, so is there a large demand for darts referees in the PDC, or is it not a very high turnover, I'd imagine?
No, it's not a big group. It's like there's four of us sort of on the rota, and we tend to have like a fifth member of a team of four who comes in to fill in as and when if something happens or whatever. I was that guy. I was the fifth member of a team of four. But then September 2021, I sort of got promoted up to the main group of four, and my work has increased ever since.
I'm most curious, how does one develop their iconic voice, or especially a 180 call, or do you think that you have established that, or are you going to continue to work on your voice?
Yeah, I think I'll always probably continue to work on my voice. I think the thing when it comes to developing it, a lot of it is experience, and a lot of it is actually by doing it, and that's how you develop your voice. Yeah, my calling style is very different now, 14 years on, from when I first started. My voice is changing. I'm very happy with my style now. I think it's quite sort of settled, and dare I say it's kind of become more recognisable, but it will probably change again. You know, if in another 10 years, it might be completely different again. You never know.
Yeah, I think the second thing that I was most curious about is, do you mostly think of pattern recognition rather than the actual mental arithmetic when you're doing the counting?
Yeah, exactly. So if someone hits 20, 20 and treble 20, you're not sat there thinking 40 plus 60 is 100. You just know that that's 100. The time where you really sort of count is when they're on a finish and they may have gone a way that you're not expecting them to go. That's when all of a sudden you've got to be thinking on your feet, and it does happen very suddenly as well. So it's not easy. It depends whether you're concentrating or not. Well, I mean, half of it is concentration, but half of it as well. I mean, bearing in mind, if you're expecting somebody to go a certain way, so I don't know. I'm using a very basic example here, but if someone's on 74 left with two darts, so if they want 91 and they've hit single 17, they got 74 left. So you're wholly expecting in your mind for them to go for treble 14, double 16. So you've gone down that line of maths in your head. But if all of a sudden they go for treble 18, and instead of hitting treble 18, they hit treble 4, oh, now we're on a completely different. So how do you pull yourself back from that line of thinking to go pull yourself back and go down that line? It's about how quickly you can do that. That's probably the best way I can describe it, but it's not easy, especially if they're a fast player.
Yeah.
You know, and it's the most awful feeling in the world when it feels like every other person in the crowd knows exactly what's going on except for this one. You know, it's not a nice feeling. The hardest players to referee, I find, are those who play off of instinct. So somebody like Owen Price, for example, tends to have a very fixed way of going, and he doesn't change from that. James Wade is another one. But somebody like Luke Littler or Michael Smith, they might go for treble 14, double 10 on 62 one shot, and then treble 18, double 4 2 legs later. You know, it's just depending on how they feel at the time. And that's the hardest players to anticipate.
I was curious about the timing of when they change pace of someone has just won the leg, and I noticed you all announced who won, but then you also mentioned who's going to be throwing next, and then the game on. I've noticed, I believe that you are looking out of the corner of your eye at their feet to see when they're going to approach the line so you can time it just right. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is a deliberate move on my part. Sometimes don't get it quite right all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, there has been some times where I've started saying you require 123 and they're miles away stood at the drinks table. I'm like, jump the gun on that one. But yes, if I can, I try and watch their feet and try and time it so I'm not speaking while they're throwing.
Especially your first time around becoming a PDC caller, was there a particular player that you were just really excited to call their match?
Well, Raymond van Barneveld was definitely one. My very first Premier League match included Raymond van Barneveld, and he was somebody who I grew up. I mean, I had just started watching darts when he joined the PDC for the first time. So to referee for him on stage is a great walk-on. It's a fantastic walk-on. So yeah, that was very exciting. Nowadays, I mean, well, people like Michael Van Gerwen, Luke Littler, Michael Smith, all of these sort of big games. Now, I've never done the second half of the World Championships before. Right. So I'm looking forward to doing like some great games, hopefully, after Christmas, which I won't have had the experience of doing before. It's a great job, and I love it.
I did want to ask you, you had just launched a brand new website, and it
Yes.
has a little bit more about you for folks that want to learn more about Huw. It does seem to be that people can get in touch with you and you can do cameos, so I know we want to hire you for a couple of things.
Oh, right, yes, yeah, I'm going to do some cameos on the stage just after this. But yeah, huwware.com is my website. I've literally just published my latest blog, but that's a podcast coming as well, so everyone is more than welcome to tune in.
Do you have a name for the podcast already?
Yes, the blog and podcast have both got the same name. It's called Tops and Tails.
Tops and Tails will be
Yes.
glad to be the first guest on his podcast
Yes,
when it
absolutely,
launches.
yes, yes.
All right, Huw, thank you so much.
Thank you, Jen.
Appreciate it.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.